So Andrea, when it comes to this question, would you rather pay taxes now or pay taxes later? What would be your answer?
Well, I really don't know. Does it really make a difference?
Well, even though you answered my question with a question, you may be surprised of how correct of an answer that might be. Because if you're actually confronted with, at your employment, of whether you should do a traditional 401k versus a Roth 401k, if they're offering it, it really comes down to your own personal situation. And the same holds true if you were looking at investing into a traditional IRA versus a Roth IRA. There is never a clear-cut answer to which is better, which is why we create these short educational videos to point out the similarities and differences that you may want to think about. So if you have a traditional 401k that you're contributing to, and your company also offers a Roth 401k, we're going to talk about how you should go about thinking when it comes to participating in one or the other or both in this short educational video today. Hi, my name is Carson Graves, President and CEO of the Retirement Education Center.
And my name is Andrea, Director of Operations at the Retirement Education Center. And the reason we've created these educational videos is to make the difficult and confusing retirement process simple.
Absolutely, and we do this by incorporating a team of strategic partners ranging from certified financial analysts, certified financial planners, estate attorneys, insurance advisors, and other needed professionals to help us build a comprehensive and holistic roadmap for our clients to let them know when, where, and how they should think about their retirement.
For specialized strategies on how to maximize your retirement income, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell to be notified when we upload new videos.
So, Andrew, one of the most common questions that I get asked as a financial professional is whether I should, contribute to my traditional 401k, or if they have one, should I contribute to my Roth 401k? Now, Andrew, you had the same question for me that I had to help you figure out. And the truth of the matter is that when you're contributing to a traditional 401k from your employer, you're just going to be putting away pre-tax dollars. But when you take that money out during your retirement years, you're going to be actually taking that money out and having to pay taxes on those dollars at your ordinary income tax rate. Now, when it comes to a Roth 401k, you will be paying taxes on those dollars today at today's tax rates. But here's the other side of that. That money will get an opportunity to grow tax-free, and when you come to take distributions from that Roth 401k, you'll be able to take distributions out of that 401k tax-free. Now, here's the thing. I don't know which one is better or worse for you that's watching this video. It all depends on your personal situation. One or both could equally be sufficient for you. But that is why we do these educational videos, to point out some of the similarities, differences, the pros and cons of doing either type of plan, so you can make a wise decision about your personal situation with your personal financial advisor. But before we get into today's educational video, we want to give you 2 rules to retirement income. What are those 2 rules?
Well, rule number 1 is to never run out of money. And rule number 2 is to never forget rule number 1.
So let's talk about, what a traditional 401k has to offer versus what a Roth 401k has to offer. So let's go ahead and start talking about how a traditional 401k would differ from a Roth 401k if your employer is going to offer one or both of these types of plans. Now, as always, when we're comparing plans or any type of retirement vehicle, we're going to always specify for 2021, because we know that the rules of these type of accounts will change possibly on an annual basis. So just to get started, when you're looking at a 401k or even a Roth 401k, a 403b, a 457 plan, or a thrift savings plan, the maximum amount that you can put into these plans for 2021 is $19,500 if you're 49 and under, or $26,000 if you're 50 and older. So you can do a catch up of $6,500 here. So let's go ahead and dive into the similarities and the differences of a traditional 401k versus a Roth 401k. For starters, when you're looking at how they're similar, a traditional or a Roth 401k, no matter which type of plan contribution that you are going to make, there is just one maximum amount that you can put in either of these plans per year. So you can put a maximum per year per person of $19,500 or $26,000 if you're 50 and older. So you can't put $19,500 in your traditional 401k and then another $19,500 in a Roth 401k. You can put a total in both of these of only $19,500. So one of the things that I think people do not realize that if taxes were to stay exactly the same between now and when you retire, there really would not be any difference in which account you decided to put money into if the returns between that Roth 401k and that traditional 401k were similar. There really wouldn't be that big of a difference there. But I always tell clients who are asking about that, do you really think that it's going to be that much parity between now and then maybe 25 or 30 years in the future when you retire? Do you really think taxes won't change? But that's something that you have to note, that if things were pretty much the same, there really is no difference in these accounts and how they may perform for you on the back end. When it comes to RMDs, for no matter if you have a traditional 401k or a Roth 401k, now this is where a Roth 401k differs from a Roth IRA. In a Roth 401k and a traditional 401k, RMDs must be paid from each of those accounts by the age of 72. Also, with a traditional 401k and a Roth 401k, loans are available. So you can take a loan from either of those type of plans if you have them in place from your employer. So let's go ahead and talk about some differences between these accounts here, because there are some differences. With a traditional 401k, it is funded with pre-tax money, and that therefore you're going to pay taxes later. Also, with a traditional 401k, contributions provide tax deductions. So here's a good example of that. You make $100,000 a year. You decide to put $15,000 into your 401k. The only amount of income that you're going to have to report is $85,000. So that other $15,000 is not reportable as income, and it's only taxable when you take it out in the back end, but it is a tax deduction there. A Roth 401k, on the other hand, is funded with after-tax money. So you're going to pay taxes now. You don't have a tax deduction when it comes to a Roth 401k. Also, a Roth 401k, you have to adhere to the 5-year rule. It's very important that you understand that when it comes to a Roth 401k, because that's not the same. You don't have the same rule and implications of a traditional 401k. Just to go ahead and give you a brief analysis of what that 5-year rule will look like. Let's just say you start a Roth 401k at the age of 58, and now you're past 59 and a half. Now, usually when you're past 59 and a half, when you're in a traditional 401k, or you have a traditional IRA or any type of retirement account, you can take that money out without there being any penalties on those dollars. But with a Roth 401k, you do have to follow the 5-year rule. You haven't had this account for 5 years, so you cannot take a qualified distribution from this account until you're age 63, 5 years later. You would, if you did so, have to either pay taxes or maybe even a 10% penalty on earnings if you did that. So you have to be really careful about that 5-year rule. So I would encourage you that if you have more questions about that, to go take a look at our video that we created over the Roth 5-year rule. It'll give you some more insight about how to handle any type of Roth account in regards to the 5-year rule. So I mentioned in my previous screen that if tax rates were to stay the same, having a traditional 401k versus a Roth 401k wouldn't make a difference. And I want to show you that here. I want to illustrate that here with this hypothetical example of what I mean by that. So let's just take a look at this account here. Let's say you have $25,000 inside of a traditional 401k, and then you have $25,000 in a Roth 401k. Let's just say the tax rates right now on that traditional IRA obviously is going to be zero, because you don't pay taxes now on that traditional 401k. You pay taxes later. But you will have to pay taxes on this Roth 401k. So of 22%, that's the hypothetical tax rate we're looking at in this example. So after tax, of course, it's still going to be $25,000 for the traditional 401k, but we pay taxes on this $25,000 for the Roth 401k. And so we have $19,500 inside of that account. And let's just say both of these accounts are invested similarly, and they have, returns of 7%. So similar investments, they have returns of 7%. Pre-tax gain, obviously this is very simplistic and hypothetical, but I want to show you that if it's not that big of a difference, how this may turn out. So if we're looking at the pre-tax gains on these dollars, you can see that with a traditional IRA, it has gone up to $26,750. And with the Roth 401k, it's at $20,865. So now we're in retirement. And let's just say, you and I were an optimist in this example here. Taxes did not go up over that period of time. And you're in retirement, and now you're still in the 22% tax bracket. But here, obviously, you don't have to pay any taxes on a Roth 401k. You've already paid those taxes. So the after-tax value for the traditional 401k is $20,865. Of course, the after-tax value here is $20,865 as well. But let's just say we live in the real world, and we know that things do change often, and we know taxes go up. Let's just say the tax rate go up by 50% by the time you retire. So in the same exact scenario, we have $25,000 in each account. We pay no taxes now on the traditional 401k. We pay 22% on the Roth 401k. The after-tax values are obviously the same as in our prior example here. And our hypothetical returns, again, are going to be 7% in the accounts. Now our pre-tax gains obviously are going to be exactly the same. But now the tax rate has gone up 50%. Now we're going to be paying taxes in our retirement of 33% on this money versus 0 on the Roth 401k. So our after-tax value now, the money that we have access to when we take out for taxes, is only going to be $17,922.50 in the traditional 401k versus still having $20,865 that we have in the Roth 401k that we can spend tax-free. So the thing is that I want to point out is that even if your tax rates do not change, your income could change. So you may not stay at the same exact income. So there's a lot of variables that will lead you to maybe want to think about understanding how to minimize taxes on the back end of your retirement by utilizing a Roth 401k if your company actually offers one. So let's talk about what account you may choose if you actually had the opportunity to pick either one of these type of accounts from your employment. If you are a high income earner, you might want to think about a traditional IRA. Why? Because as I mentioned, by putting money into a traditional IRA, you do get that tax deduction. And possibly on the back end, as you're delaying taxes now, you may be in a lower tax bracket at your retirement if you're actually a high income earner. So you want to think about that strategically and think about maybe a traditional 401k if you're earning a lot of income. Now, if you're a low wage earner, the opposite would be true because now you're in a lower tax bracket. This would be the perfect time to actually pay the taxes on those earnings into a Roth 401k because you don't have to pay any taxes on the back end. And if you're a low wage earner, your income possibly may be higher as you get into later in your retirement years. If you're looking to max out your 401k, if you have enough income in which you're going to max out those earnings and you're a great saver, then you might want to think about a Roth 401k. So let's take a look at why I say that. So if you're looking at saying I'm a pro traditional 401k, let's just take a look if you maxed out either of these accounts. So let's say you get to your retirement and you've maxed out one account or the other. You have a traditional 401k at $700,000. You have a Roth 401k at $700,000. Now let's assume at that time you're in the 30% tax bracket. Well, you do not own all of this $700,000. That traditional 401k is really valued at $210,000 less because of taxes. But this Roth 401k is still valued at $700,000. So after tax, you really only have about $490,000 in that traditional 401k versus having $700,000 in that Roth 401k. So if you are a really good saver and you're thinking on the back end, you're going to want to have more control over those funds tax-free, then obviously a Roth 401k is going to be better for you. If you're looking for a tax deduction right now, more cash flow now, then a traditional 401k is going to be more in line for what you're looking for. Tax-free to your estate. We just see in this example here what we mean by that. If you want a tax-free exchange to your beneficiaries, having a Roth 401k will allow you to do that on the back end. If you're undecided which is better for you, here's what I recommend at any given time. You can't go wrong if you're a saver. You pick one or both and save in both of the accounts, and you will not have any type of negative implication for saving money for your retirement. Of course, no matter what situation that you may be in, we always encourage you to consult with a financial advisor or a tax advisor because your situation can be totally different, and these videos are just meant to be educational only. So I hope that this information gave you some insight into how a traditional 401k and a Roth 401k may differ. Please remember that these videos are created for educational purposes only, and make sure that you sit down with your financial advisor or tax advisor in order to make sure that you understand what particular situation may be best for you. For more information about this particular topic or any of our other topics that we've discussed in our other videos, please feel free to reach out to our office personally and leave any comments or questions in the section below.
To learn more about our services and how we can help you to increase your chances of not outliving your retirement savings, please make sure to click on the link in the description below and sign up for our free Maximizing Your Retirement Income Masterclass. After this video, please check out our other videos that we've created that will give you tips on how to maximize your retirement. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and share it with a friend. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you have questions,
we have answers.